It's NFL draft week, everybody. Eagles, what will Howie Roseman do? The Phillies have won 6 games in a row now. And Sixers, Knicks, Madison Square Garden. Game 2 tonight. We're talking all that and more. Trending in the AM on its new home, Edge of Philly Sports. We're live. 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM on its new home, Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you're watching, whichever Edge of Philly platform you're watching on. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, whatever you do on any of those platforms. Make sure you share it out and help everyone find the number one and first daily sports YouTube show here in the Philadelphia area, Trending in the AM. Those like, share, subscribe buttons. It's what it is, man. Everybody get interactive with the show. We've been doing Trending in the AM here now for about 2.5 years. This is my first day here, part of the Edge of Philly Sports family. I want to shout out Big Al and the crew there. Glad to be a part of this team. What do you get with Trending in the AM? This is not my show. This is the show of the people. The tagline of this show is where your opinions actually matter. I set the topics. You guys change them to whatever you want. I'm Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Shoot me a follow, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to find me. That's where you can. And we got lots on the agenda to kick off this week as part of EOP. We got Sixers, Knicks, game 2 tonight. We're going to talk about game 1, the injury, a lot of that stuff. A lot of that is on the agenda today. Phillies, 6 in a row, back-to-back series sweeps for the Phillies. 1 game out of first place already, and it's still April. Got lots of Phillies conversation that we can bring to the table today. And of course, it's NFL Draft Week. The first podcast I ever hosted was over 4 years ago, Draft Week, when the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. There's a lot going on. What will Howie do? It's all on the table. The comments matter. K1, what is up? I'm so glad. Right off the bat, part of the Core 12. You'll hear me mention, if you're new to this show, the Core 12, the Core 12. It's not 12 specific people. It's the nickname of my regular listeners every single day, which a bunch of them are in the comments already. Yes, we talk movies on this show as well. Godfather, Goodfellas. That's a classic question right there. Peanut, what is up, my man? Glad to be back. Adam, good morning at work. But, well, yeah, look. This isn't work. This is my new home, my temporary studio. I'm setting up a real studio on the other side of the basement. But good to see you. Mitchie Poo. What, this is your first comment of the show? It's not Tobias Harris or, and of course, my main man, Mark Moschatelli. Good morning. You'll be on sooner rather than later. I am sure you'll be a part of this show. Yes, welcome back and welcome to the new EOP. Look, EOP, we're going to take things to a new level here. Do you like the setup with all the things here? I have a lot more than jerseys to hang up like I used to in my old studio, but with this new house, I got the option to put some other things. And Mark, you'll love this. This picture back here. It's a Harry Callis picture, but the way it's drawn is all the words of high hopes make the Harry Callis. I've been waiting to put this up behind me. I love it. It's my favorite thing I've got back here. I always see you, TMZ. Good morning, my man. Are we done alienating out fans, Phil? I'm not alienating anybody, my man. We're going to talk Sixers. We're going to talk Phillies today. 1,000%. No doubt about it. There is Phillies and Sixers on the agenda. What is up? The booch is loose. Yeah, you like the new background there, my man. All right, real quick, guys, before we get started with some of the topics today, I'm going to pay a couple of bills. We got a couple sponsors on this show, so I'm going to shout out a couple of them right now. First and foremost, I'm not used to this, so got to give me a second here. Find it. There we go. Sherry Tickets. SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't happen. They happen with you in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less with SherryTickets.com and get the tickets you want. Saving even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on forever. Don't pay the hidden fees and save 10%. You can't beat that. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets? If you need a more personal touch, you can give them a call, 610-494-5050. SherryTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get by. Remember, don't overpay with rest and save with the best SherryTickets.com. EOP10. Get you 10% off. SherryTickets.com. That's the first of the four sponsors I got to get through. Where are the jerseys? We haven't even unpacked the jerseys, my man. Yeah, we got four sponsors. I got to get through them. I have not gone corporate. Got to pay the bills. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I knew K1 and TMZ would not be happy about the sponsors, but I got four sponsors. So that's one. New office, new commercial reads. Look at you. I'm a professional. Little does Big Al know I'm so far from professional. So far from professional, Tim. So far from it. But guys, we got lots going on here. So first and foremost, Sixers dropped game one on Saturday night. And it was one of the most emotionally charged games that I've seen in ages. Emotionally highs and lows for a playoff of game one. That's right, Bruce. Go Sixers. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at this. That read was silly. Don't you dare call me the silly man. Yeah, I'm glad to be a part too. Sixers. They dropped 111-104 on Saturday night. And there was so much hype for me going into that game. I really, really felt like the Sixers were going to dominate this series versus the Knicks. And you know, that was a little homerish of me to believe that. It was a little homerish to think it was just going to be a rollover. But the game starts out and Joel Embiid is dominating and Joel Embiid is doing his thing. And things were going pretty well. Then the second quarter, obviously, Joel Embiid goes down, hurts his knee on the slam dunk attempt, alley-oop to himself, whatever you want to call that stupid, crazy thing that he tried to do. And you just felt the wind just get sucked out of the Sixers' sails. Not just the fan base, but the players as well. You could just see the energy level of the Sixers players. First and foremost, before we even talk about the game, if you don't realize that Joel Embiid is the MVP of not just the Sixers, but the NBA, just watch how his teammates just become so deflated when he goes down. I mean, it's crazy to think about that. But he goes down, you know, halftime, they fall behind right there at the half after he goes down. Comes back out in the third quarter, plays a little tentatively. But, you know, they made their runs, the Sixers. They just didn't have enough to get it done. Exactly, Mark. Listen, the Knicks are really good. It's going to take 7 to take them if they take them. I still don't think it goes 7. I still think the Sixers got this series in 5 or 6 games. I still think the Sixers are the better team. But clearly, this team goes and rolls with how Joel Embiid plays. When Joel Embiid plays well, or if he's motivated, or if he's, you know, got his mojo working, I mean, they're unstoppable. We will see tonight, 7:30 tip, Madison Square Garden, Sixers Knicks game 2. We'll see how that knee feels right from the get-go, how he's moving up and down the court. It's not necessarily the, you know, how many points he scores. It's how quickly he's moving up and down the floor. It's the energy, the body language. I'm a big body language person. And that will tell us, you know, how Joel Embiid is feeling. And it will tell us whether we stand a chance or not. You know, everybody's saying hello in the chats. I'm used to that. What is up, Check? Good morning. Welcome to the morning show. Yeah, look, I knew everybody was gonna love the new setup. Everybody but a few I knew would love it. What is up, Ryan? How you doing, my main man? 11 likes. Look at that. Look at that. 11 likes right off the bat. How about that? But guys, it all will come down to Joel Embiid. And I saw a comment here. There it is, Joey. I missed your comment. I think Melton and Cove would be huge X factors if healthy. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the box score from Saturday night. And obviously it's the playoffs and Nick Nurse's philosophy is to play his main guys a lot of minutes. I mean, Joel Embiid missed the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, and he still played 37 minutes. Maxey played 44 minutes, Lowry 39 minutes. I'm going to get to Lowry in a minute. Kelly Oubre 29 minutes. Batum played 26 minutes off the bench, and then the rest of the bench played a combined 24 minutes, 25 minutes. I don't know if Melton or Cove would be big X factors. As long as they are still playing Tobias Harris 30-plus minutes, where are the minutes coming from for Melton or Cove? And that's the thing. And maybe if Melton was healthy, maybe Tobias Harris wouldn't be playing, but I am not expecting much from DeAnthony Melton in the playoffs. He just can't seem to stay healthy. What is this? Camera shake is a nice touch. Yeah, so the camera's shaking because I'm out of place. I can't find how to plug my mouse in right now, so I got to use the keyboard mouse. So yeah, it's gonna shake a little bit. I'm gonna get a little extra little tool this afternoon and make that fixed. Sixers need a win. They absolutely, Ellis, need a win. Make sure you hit that like button if you don't mind. Absolutely need to win tonight. It is must win. I don't know what the line is on tonight's game, but 100% need to win. And it's going to be this is like, tonight's game, Ellis. It's you gotta look at, the X and O. You gotta know whether Joel Embiid's healthy and all that. But this is a game where Nick Nurse has to prove that he's a different coach than Doc Rivers. He can make the adjustments after game one. He can have the confidence to not play Tobias Harris 31 minutes. Have the confidence to find a way to get Buddy Hield to do a little bit more. It's very, very, very important that Nick Nurse coaches a great game tonight against the Knicks. And if he does, you got a good chance at winning. Kyle Lowry is, look, I was wrong. Kyle Lowry, to me, was washed. Kyle Lowry, to me, had nothing left in the tank. But Kyle Lowry did everything on Saturday night that we expected from PJ Tucker the year before, where we were told playoff PJ. Well, Nicholas Batum and Kyle Lowry in the last two games have done what we expected. Veteran guys that, not coasting, but weren't effective always in the regular season, but come big time moments. Kyle Lowry had a hell of a game on Saturday night. Very, 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 very appreciative of that, or very good of that. The setup is sick. Is it possible to tell Tobias Harris the game is actually tomorrow and he doesn't play? And Tobias Harris, man, everybody that knows me and has been following my program for a long time knows I've always been a Tobias Harris supporter. Mitchie Poo will vouch that I finally started to criticize him the last month or two of the season. And Tobias Harris should not be starting. Tobias Harris should not even be playing. The confidence is that I don't want to hear that he's got 9 rebounds on Saturday night. Tobias Harris is pretty useless out there. I bet you there were a few fans and he knocked down the first shot of the game, that 3-point shot, like, we're going to have a Tobias Harris game. Doesn't happen. Not at all. Mitch, I have to go. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, Bruce, for the first few minutes. I appreciate that. Oubre, bench has to show up. Oubre, yes. The bench, extremely yes, Joe Bucci. Buddy Hield has to be able to do something. And Nick Nurse flat out said he'd play terrible, and they got to find a way to get him going. Without Kelly Oubre being able to knock down a few shots, you can't bench Tobias Harris if Buddy Hield doesn't do something, because you got to have 5 bodies on the floor. So I don't know. This is going to be all these things. Oubre, the bench, Hield, Harris. This is on Nick Nurse. I also saw Nick Nurse comment yesterday that he might consider playing some Paul Reed at the 4 along with Joel Embiid. He goes, why did we lose on Saturday night? Because we got out-rebounded on the offensive boards like 23-11 or something like that. It was insane. Second chance points are killer. Second second chance points in the playoffs are death nails to your season. Yeah, big look, you're not alone. I was not a fan of how they basically based their whole entire trade deadline about clearing a roster spot to get Kyle Lowry. And boy, was I wrong. And that's the one thing. Anybody that's new that watches this show for the first time today or this week or in the coming weeks here on EOP, one thing you'll get from me that you don't get from any other content creators. I admit my mistakes. And boy, was I wrong on Kyle Lowry. Lowry is Nurse's ace in the hole. He's going to do dirty work. Lowry is the guy that you hate until he becomes part of your squad, and then you love him. Absolutely love him. So you got to love Kyle Lowry and what Kyle Lowry is capable of doing in this playoffs. Phil, when you ask the "why would you" question during live read, do it with disgust and pause. Thanks for the tip. Lowry was the second best Villanova alum at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, because Josh Hart was the first, not Brunson. Look, you live and die. Yeah, I saw people saying, "Why would you leave Josh Hart open for so many 3-point shots?" Well, Mark, you let him. He's a 31% career 3-point shooter. I figured it out. It would have been. He's going to come down to earth. Josh Hart is not going to score 20+ points every game this series. We're going to get more live reads in a minute here. I'm trying to get caught up on some comments here. And this freaking mouse pad, I hate. Does anybody else hate the mouse pads that are built into the laptops? They freaking suck. Tobias Harris should be beaten with batteries in a sweat sock if he bricks another three. He don't even brick threes. He just completely misses everything. Tobias Harris is shot confidence-wise. There's literally no doubt in my mind about that. It's a shame. It's a shame what's happened to him because he's a really good guy and he's a really nice guy. But, man, got to be better. Mitch, Bruce, got to go. Buddy, been a big disappointment. Dude, we're so far gone, Mark, from Phil, we're so far gone from those first 4 games when he was dropping 20 points each game. It's so far, and it's a shame, man. Because not good. Toby stinks. He is completely unaware of the moment and his inability to step up. But he had 9 rebounds, Ryan. Just kidding. He stinks. He really. If Nick Nurse wanted to make a statement to this team, to this city, he'd bench him. He wouldn't play game 2 at all. But we know they're not going to do that. It's impossible to see that. A lot of long offensive rebounds for the Knicks, and then they went red hot from second quarter on. B gets hurt, and they lost by 7. Let's get them New York Hopes up to crush them. Yeah, look, Joe, thanks for checking in here this morning. You can't give up that many offensive rebounds. You just can't. You can't do that and expect to win. The Embiid injury, I know he came back, but just the energy from that team, those 5 minutes he missed at the end of the second quarter, it just sucked the life out of everybody. And Josh Hart, it's the long offensive rebounds, it's Embiid's injury, and Josh Hart having a career game from 3-point land. Embiid's not going to get hurt every game. You might give up those offensive rebounds every game. I don't know. We'll see. Josh Hart's not going to shoot like that every game. So, in theory, the Sixers still have as good a chance as any to make this work. Phil makes mistakes so he can admit them. Yeah, I like making mistakes so I can admit them. I am that kind of man. Rebounding Fred Burns, rebounding Fred Burns, rebounding is an attitude too. Also, they should have went to Maxey down the stretch because Embiid clearly didn't have it. I wonder how much, Fred, if that wasn't a playoff game, if Embiid wouldn't have come back. Now, reports from the locker room saying he looked okay. He wasn't limping or anything after the game, but he was obviously in some pain and discomfort. I wonder if any of it was like a decoy, and they should have gone to Maxey more. Because he clearly didn't have it. But the problem is there's nobody else right now on this team that's stepping up. Kyle Lowry to an extent, Batum at times. But if you can't have Kelly Oubre and you can't have Buddy Hield doing anything, if Tobias Harris is playing 31 minutes and scoring 7 points, you got to trot Embiid out there. You live and die with Embiid, and you hope that is the way it goes. Tim, the bench can't perform when they have 24 minutes from 3 players. The Knicks balanced their rotation. Sixers leaned on the starters. And Tim, I agree with you. But also, you kind of got to understand that that's Nick Nurse's MO. Nick Nurse, at times in Toronto, had 7-man rotations come playoff time. And that's what he does. He leans on his stars. He leans on his top players come playoff time. The problem is Tobias Harris shouldn't be one of those guys he's leaning on. He is. The problem is you can't lean on Buddy Hield because Buddy Hield hasn't been good for how long now? I want to feel ashamed for you second better. This is your new home, TMZ. There's no shame in that. This is your new home. Sixers are missing Melton defense bad. They are. Hart would have been a non-factor. That's a great point from you, Mark. I just don't know if I even want to mention Anthony Melton's name. I mean, we saw him for the last two games left in the season. He came back for one game, and then he was back, and he hasn't played again since. It's a shame because I'm a huge DeAnthony Melton fan. I think defensively, I even think offensively, he's got something. So, um, yeah, stop, stop, stop. I haven't downloaded my stop shirt. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, um, I'll have this fixed by tomorrow. I might even have my real studio set up by tomorrow. We'll see. Uh, Hated to get this man. I have a wireless mouse. Um, just can't find the little. I got it right here. Can't find the little thing that plugs into the USB thing. I'm in the process of unpacking. I just moved literally a week ago into this new home. So there's a lot of boxes all over this house right now. I will have it. Don't you worry. It's okay. He left us in the lurch for weeks. I warned you I was leaving for weeks, but now I'm back. Even the coffee mug is bigger. All we need now is a silk tissue to. My regular MVP is not good enough. Hey, it's all about new beginnings today. And it's a new beginning for the Sixers, new beginnings for the Phillies, the Eagles. We got so much else to talk about today, too. The Sixers were built for rotation depth. I agree. That's why I said one of the keys to get this series back on track isn't just Joel Embiid's health. It's Nick Nurse making adjustments. Nick Nurse out coaching Tom Thibodeau. That is what the key tonight to get this series back to 1-1. Take one game from New York in New York, and then this series is over for the New York Knicks. I really truly believe that. I thought Knicks were due. I think they still are. They're a good team. Let's be honest. They're a good team. They're the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference for a reason. Because the Eastern Conference is very mediocre, but that's another topic. Why get a coach and depth if that coach doesn't use the depth? Because you have depth for the regular season, Tim. 82-game season. When you get to playoff time, you want to play your stars as much as possible. It's not a new theory to rely on your starters. If you've got a solid top 7 or 8, you stick to them. Problem is the wrong 7 or 8 were getting used because Tobias Harris, 31 minutes, too much, too many. How it feeling knowing you go to old studio, it's breaking and entering. What? I don't even know what that means. As typical. Needed a brickin' for chicken to happen midway through the fourth. Is that what we needed? Yeah, probably. I love the new camera. I do. Thanks, Big Al. I do. It's high quality right there. But look, it's coming down to Nick Nurse. I mean, I'm looking. Let me go back to this box score again here. How could he have done things differently? Honestly, the rumor that he's going to play Paul Reed at the 4 a little bit. I mean, in his 11 minutes, he had 3 offensive rebounds. That would be good. You know, the problem with the bench, I'm looking at the plus minuses on this team, and I forget the exact number. With Embiid on the floor, they were something like a plus 14, plus 15. Without him on the floor, they were like a minus 25. Is Paul Reed really going to make a difference if he plays that 4 for the first time? I got it out. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Just got to find the box. It's somewhere around here. If not, I'm going to Walmart later. Don't worry. I know the starters play, but you need to rotate. Again, Tim, I get what you're saying. You used 2 players, 11, 1-3, and Oubre 26. Yeah, it's not rotating. So the bench was you had 26 minutes from Batum, which obviously, if anything, I would like to flip that with the Tobias Harris 31. Reed played 11 minutes. Buddy Hield played 11 minutes. Campaign got in for a couple minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. But I'm okay if they use just those 8 and Campaign if necessary at a moment. I'm okay with that. I just want to see the minutes balanced out a different. I have no problem with them playing Tyrese Maxey 44 minutes. None whatsoever. Maybe 39 minutes of Kelly Oubre is a bit much. Maybe it is. But Oubre brings energy. He brings toughness. He brings fight. I mean, look, he had 5 steals. So I'm not totally as upset with the rotation. I just con- concerned that he needs to make some adjustments to who gets used in what levels of that 7 or 8 players. Obviously, you've got your 5 starters. You're going to have a backup center to give, Joel Embiid his break even if he plays. And then if you just use Batum and, you know, Hield off the bench, that's fine by me. I just don't want to see 30 plus minutes from Tobias Harris tonight. Miles McBride is killer, but Josh Hart ain't hitting threes like that again. Fred, 1,000% accurate. You live and die. Like, I saw people crushing the Sixers defense for leaving Josh Hart open so often. It's not going to happen on the regular. Josh Hart is a career 30, 31% three-point shooter. You let him go. You let him do that. Most times he's going to go 2 for 8, not 4 for 8. Let's be honest. He only made, 4 3-point shots anyway? Come on. It's not that big of a deal. The McBride, that was killer as well. But honestly, if Joel Embiid does not go down when he did and the way he did, it's not just going down. It's going down and laying on the floor with this look on your face that, shit, my career is over. Like, if you looked at his eyes, if it wasn't 420 and I wasn't busy making 420 jokes on Saturday night when he went down, the look in his eyes, you thought he was done. That knee was re-blown out. That's the way it looked. That just sucks. If he just gets up, goes to the bench, sits for 4 minutes, comes back in to close it, or just sits for the rest of the quarter, and he doesn't look like the season's over, their outcome might have been different. That Joel Embiid injury literally sucked the wind out of the entire team. Everybody on that team just felt differently. The energy felt it. And New York, from that lack of emotion or the sap of emotion from the Sixers team, energized the Knicks team. The Knicks were thinking in that first quarter and a half, that they had no chance to beat this Sixers team. Joel Embiid was playing one of the best games he had to start since he came back from his injury. They were dominating everywhere. And he goes down. That gives them that second win. Use the 8, but rotate them. Maxey stays. Lowry minutes are good. Like, I'm not thrilled with using Kyle Lowry 39 minutes or whatever it was, but for now, I will. If you're going to make a deep run, you can't be playing Kyle Lowry 39 minutes every single night. The brace dug into his knee and scared him. I think you tweeted this out, and that's possible. And then you saw the bloody knee cover, just like the bloody sock. When he came out, that could have been what it was, because he was moving pretty well afterwards. I've never worn a knee brace, but I would assume that, yeah, it could probably dig into your leg pretty well. It could probably hurt pretty well, for sure. Very, very possible right there that was part of the problem there, Mark. I saw that it wasn't so much the knee, that it was the brace that hurt him when he went down, and he didn't know it was pain from the brace digging into his leg. Yeah, again, I think that's why he came back so quickly in the second half. And, he wasn't, I think he was a little tentative when he came back. I think a little scared, maybe. I don't know what the right word is. Maybe he was still thinking. Maybe the pain was just still there massively. I gotta imagine having a knee brace dig into your knee like that. All right, you're ready for your second ad read. All right, we're gonna bring up the second sponsor just to make the Core 12 happy right here. Let's see, PhillySportsTrips.com. We're gonna bring them up here. If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. PhillySportsTrips.com, and travel with the pros. Features premium travel packages and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, the Philadelphia sports fans. Philadelphia Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights. Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Union, you name it, they have it. And they even do day trips. I've seen day trips to D.C. for Commanders, Eagles games, stuff like that. Go to PhillySportsTrips.com and sign up and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, they also have a great package if you are willing to go to Brazil to cheer on the Eagles week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Make sure you check them out, PhillySportsTrips.com. Make sure you tell them EOP sent you. And right back to the comments. I lost my spot in the comments. There we are. Lowry, all series, is going to want to show up for Nurse Philly and show out against his fella Nova alum. All J. Wright players are tight. I agree. I love it. And I know you're a big Nova boy. So, yeah. He's unsure of the knee being repaired, but the brace caused the issue, not the repair. I'm really hoping that's the case. And if that is the case, Tim, tonight he should come out with that same energy he had on Saturday. And if he does, then we're going to win tonight. I don't think it's any doubt in my mind that we are going to win tonight if he is there. Everyone was criticizing Elton Brand for signing Al Horford. Now Nurse is starting Paul Reed, a power forward, to help rebound and play defense. Don't you dare besmirch. That's the wrong word. Don't you ever say anything positive about Al Horford on this show. And I don't know that they're going to start him, Paul Reed, Mr. They've talked about playing him more and playing him in that power forward role because of that, but that's it. Yeah. You love it. You love it. You got to get used to it. It's going to happen I got to figure out what times are the best to read them, but we got them. Girls can watch the game after getting that. Man. Joey, as a Sixers fan, is it okay to love Embiid but know he is injury prone? Yeah, it's and think it's okay to move on for major. Joey, stop. No. We can talk about this in the off season once the season's over. But I am not even thinking about trading Joel Embiid right now. And honestly, this season I've come to the conclusion, Joey, that I'm never trading Joel Embiid unless he asks for a trade out of here. Joel Embiid is going to be a Sixer for life. I'm gonna go. I phrase it like this a lot when I was on my previous network. I'm going down with the ship with Joel. I'm just gonna go down with the ship. It might be the Titanic, it might not, but I'm gonna go down with it. I'm like the last captain on the ship at the Titanic, going down with it. I'm not moving him for anything. But it's okay to love him. Know he's the MVP, but he's also injury prone, and you got to have a backup plan, a better backup plan than what they've done in the past. Let's see here. Positive from game one from Joe is that Maxey played well, 14-26, and kept us in the game while Embiid was out. Tyrese Maxey had a hell of a game. I said it before the game that this is not Tyrese Maxey doesn't need to have a coming out party because he's already a star. But this playoff run can be the moment where Tyrese Maxey tells the NBA nation, fans across the league that he's not a star, that he's a superstar. And I truly, firmly believe that. And I got crushed for saying that on Twitter. But hey, that's what's new. I got crushed a lot this weekend on Twitter. He even did a little improv. What a professional. Dude, I'm the best. I'm the best of the best of the best with honors, sir. If you know, you know. Like the modern, yeah. Oh, man. Sure, why not? Joel tonight, 40-13. Man, that would really shut up all the haters. Let me tell you something. Let me tell a little story about the Joel haters out there. All right. There was a play in the game. Y'all saw it where Hartenstein or whatever his name is was literally pulling Joel Embiid's jersey like this under the basket. Hence why, we can't get offensive rebounds when your jerseys are being ripped off your body. No foul was called. So I shared out the video of that, put on a quote, and it wasn't even bashing the refs in the game. Like, I know we did not lose Saturday because of the referee. I messed up my jacket here. But the Joel haters, man, I shared out saying the NBA has an officiating problem when this is not a foul. And 20,000 people came at me on Twitter telling me that Joel Embiid gets enough fouls called. Don't call that. I mean, it's one thing. I get it. Joel gets called for a lot of fouls. He knows how to work the system. There's a lot of stars that work the system. Jalen Brunson on the Knicks works the system massively. But Joel Embiid fans or haters could not wait to crush me talking about injury prone, flopping, this, that, and the third. And it was okay that they did not call. Literally ripping his jersey off of him. And they were okay with it. Whatever. Pixel is Peanut. He is Peanut. The great Peanut. One of the greatest out there. Tickling the reed like Billy Joel on the keys. Hey, man. I used to be the piano man, K1. Not anymore. Peanut is Einhorn. Einhorn is Peanut. Peanut is Einhorn. That's a nice little reference right there from TMZ right there. But anyway. Sixers tonight. They just need to come out and just shut the critics up. Plain and simple. I don't need tonight's or last Saturday night's box score anymore. Let me go to tonight's game. I want to see what the line is for tonight's game. That would be page down here. Again, my mouse. I will make sure I have a mouse tomorrow. Knicks are 4.5-point favorites tonight. What was the line on Saturday? I think it was like a 3.5 point. So after game one, the line actually went up and was bigger this time. I don't know. I don't know how sports bettors or sports bookies and sports line setters think that after what they saw in game one that they should make the line even bigger in game two. I'm kind of confused by that. But if Joel Embiid's healthy, if Joel Embiid's as healthy as he can be, if Nick Nurse makes the adjustments to the rotation like he claims he's going to do, then I don't see a reason why the Sixers cannot win tonight and win handily. And if Tim's right in his prediction, Joel 40-13, then there's no doubt about it. I don't know about you, but I don't like being overcharged for that's why I choose. Oh, see, here you go. Telling me how to read my ads. Thanks. I appreciate it. Sixers drop game two, and then it's officially Philly season. Well, the Phillies have won 6 in a row, 2 straight series sweeps. I got something that I can't get. We're going to talk Phillies in a few minutes. I'll do some more ad reads. We'll transition to some Phillies talk in a little bit here. I got something that's really, really annoying me and irking me massively, Marshawn, on the Phillies fan base, not the Phillies right now. And we're going to get that to that in a minute. Jose asking, do you start the same starting lineup in game one? Do I? If I'm the coach, Jose? No, I am not. Because if I'm the coach, I'm benching Tobias. I'm starting Nicholas Batum. That's me. I'm not the coach. Nick Nurse is going to keep the same starting lineup because that's just who he is. But what if I would do, I'm hoping he does is rotate the minutes differently. I don't want to see Tobias Harris at 31 minutes. Tobias Harris maximum has to play 25 minutes maximum tonight. Those 6 minutes that you take away from him can be the difference maker if you give them to Batum, Paul Reed, anybody. Maybe 6 more minutes of Buddy Hield maybe gets him off his schneid. Maybe. You know what, K1? I said it on Fairway to Heaven, which will be also on the Edge of Philly network here starting tomorrow night. I've said it before that if Scotty Scheffler learned how to putt, Scotty Scheffler could go on a Tiger Woods-esque run. He's about to win. He's going to win today, the finish of, got rained out yesterday, the tournament. But when he finishes his win today, that was going to be 4 wins in the last 5 events he played in, including the Masters. And his one non-win was a second-place finish. Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world. I tried to parlay Scotty Scheffler winning all the other majors the rest of this year, and the sports books wouldn't even let me do it. Just telling you. It's crazy. Not telling you how. I am just wishing I could. It is what it is. Nick Nurse will make adjustments. Will the players make the effort plays? I don't think. Hold on. How do I say this without you killing me, Marshawn? I don't think there was a lack of effort from the Sixers players. Like, they didn't play lazy. They were just out-efforted by the Knicks players. The Knicks played with 110% effort. The Sixers played with 98% effort, something like that, if that makes sense. I know it's a weird way, but Nick Nurse has to make those adjustments. He really does, for sure. Does it matter what the starting lineup is? I'm more interested to see who's on the floor to finish the game. 100% agree with you on this, Joe. This is something we talked about 2 weeks ago, the last time I did train the game. It's not who starts, it's who finishes. 31 minutes for Tobias Harris is not good. But it does matter to an extent, not necessarily the starting lineup, just the minute distribution, the minute allocation. Because when you play Tobias Harris 31 minutes, we're not talking about Tobias Harris. We all hated Tobias Harris over the last 5 years, right? We obviously. A lot of people. I didn't hate him till 2 months ago, but a lot of people hated Tobias Harris. But Tobias Harris was still putting up 18 points, 8 rebounds a game, occasionally would drop 25 or 30. Tobias Harris mentally is so shot, so spent, like he's a net negative on the team. You need to get him off the floor. I would absolutely stand up and give a round of applause to Nick Nurse tomorrow on this show if Nick Nurse plays Tobias Harris under 20 minutes tonight. Like, I would love it. but I doubt that happens. Knicks were playing 90s style rock'em sock'em basketball. Tobias Harris is a snowflake. We need a pit bull at power forward. Yes, 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 and yes. I agree with all that you say right here. I do. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler's caddy is greater than Tobias. Yeah, I got it. Oh, I live it. Okay, well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Overcharge on tickets. Yeah, what? I don't even know what you're saying there. Talladega, golf, baseball, NBA playoffs, and I watch all this going on, and TMZ's out there watching the United Football League. Violation. Total violation. I mean, I wasn't watching. Was Talladega this week? I know there was a NASCAR event. I don't know what it was, but there was. And you watched UFL. That's because football. And it's draft week this week. You got lots going on. I do have first guest on the new network, Edge of Philly Sports here, set for Friday to recap Eagles' first round decisions. Shane Haff, friend of the show, part of EOP's family, will be joining me as the first guest of this show on its new home. So stay tuned to Friday for that. But all this going on, and you're watching UFL, what the hell is wrong with you? If you ain't first, you're last. That's right, Mitchie Poo. Always. It was out there, and I've given you the links to watch the games out of market. Do the Eagles draft Jerry Rice's kid? Who? I don't know who the Eagles will draft. I don't. But what I will tell you, and I've complained about this on Twitter for 2 weeks straight now, because let me sidetrack for a second. I've hosted this morning show for 2.5 years, 5 days a week. I've taken like 2 or 3 days off here or there to do some big catering orders at the pizza shop. If you're new, Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square, my pizza shop. Come check me out. 2.5 years. I've never taken more than 2 or 3 days off in a month. Occasionally, I'll take 2 or 3 days off in a week when I'm on vacation, but I even do shows on vacation. Not doing a show for 2 weeks has literally driven me nuts. I've talked about it a lot on Twitter the last 2 weeks, and I'm so sick and tired of mock drafts because nobody does their mock. Everybody does their mock drafts and post them, and I post them on Twitter too all the time. Everybody does these mock drafts, and you know what they do? They do it what they think the Eagles should do. That's not giving those that follow you a clear representation of what's a realistic option that could happen. When you do your mock drafts, you got to do it thinking one thing. What is Howie thinking? Howie Roseman has traded up 4 of the last 5 years in the first round. Howie Roseman the Eagles haven't drafted a cornerback in the first round since Lito Shepherd. There's people out there mocking 4 picks in a row, 22, 50, 53, and 120, all defense. It's not going to happen. Now, he might break the trend and draft the cornerback this year. He very well could be in that first round, and they should. But it's not a realistic thought process to go cornerback, linebacker, safety, all these positions, and not there. I guarantee you, when we go live next Monday, recapping the entirety of the Eagles draft, that out of those first 4 picks, if he takes all 4 of those picks and doesn't trade any of them, that at least 2 of them are offense. You're going to see an offensive tackle or a guard drafted in those first 4 picks. You're going to see a wide receiver drafted in those first 4 picks, maybe a tight end. When you do mock draft responsibly, mock draft realistically, mock draft what Howie would do. That is the key. Who is winning the AHL Calder Cup? Are the Phantoms? I don't know, HC. No clue whatsoever. Nerds needs to realize that when the Knicks go to their rough stuff, Batum, Oubre, and Lowry should be on the floor. They'll keep the Knicks honest. That's an adjustment that I want to see from Nick Nurse. Absolutely agree with you. For sure. We talk hockey occasionally, not often enough, but occasionally. My morning routine was messed up for 2 weeks. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. My routine was messed up too. I still kept getting up early in the morning, just to putz around the new house, pack when we were in that one, unpacking stuff here. But now we're back. Now we're back to a normal routine, for sure. Bold prediction, what I said, or you have a bold prediction? Because, I mean, the more if we're drafting a cornerback in the first round, the Eagles, bold prediction is they'll trade up for it, for sure. But don't be shocked if a center or an offensive tackle is that first pick. Don't be shocked. I saw someone post something, ESP posted it. If these players were available at 22, who's Howie going to take? Latu was one of the names. If one of the top end edge rushers is available, he's going to take it. It's going to be cornerback, maybe, offensive tackle, defensive edge. That is the most likely scenario with that first pick. You're not getting a linebacker. You're not getting a safety. Howie has an MO. He is as predictable as you could be as a general manager. You can't tell me how to mock. I can't tell you. I can just tell you that you're doing it in a very irresponsible way, giving Eagles fans. There's a reason why so many Eagles fans think certain things are possible, and they don't draft X or Y or whoever at a certain position. Like, oh man, I saw. No, mock responsibly so that people get realistic expectations. Eagles have selected Phil Stiefel center. Holy crap! I wasn't the center. Big Al was the center. I was told football was too dangerous for me, and it turned out I was right because I destroyed my leg playing pickup football in college. Exactly, Tim. So many times I've done mock drafts online, and Jackson Powers Johnson is available. Howie might move. You might be right. He might even move up to him. I think he'll be there at 22. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a distinct possibility right there. Draft responsibly. Yep. If I want to draft J.J. McCarthy at 22, then that's my choice. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I know hockey, HC. I do. They are on the rise. And you know what? Next year, I might be a little bit more excited for them than I was this year. But I've talked about it on this show countless times. It was very hard for me to get into the Flyers knowing that they weren't they should have been buyers in my mind. But they weren't because they've got a plan, they're sticking to it. When you're being told that the plan isn't for right now, it's very hard to get into it. And I only got so much time. I know. Everyone wants Koopa Dijon. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Koopa. There's some really tough names to say that could fall to the Eagles at different parts of the draft. I know the core 12 is patiently waiting for the Eagles to draft someone with a very hard name to pronounce for me. Make sure you have a designated mocker if you draft too many linebackers. Yeah. Look, I got people drafting, linebackers in the first round. People drafting 2 linebackers for the Eagles. Stop. It's not going to happen. Yep. ESPN had tight end mock to Eagles. Look, maybe in the 4th or 5th round. I did a mock the other day, and Brock Bowers was there for the Eagles. I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic. I do not hate the Flyers. I hate when you say it's one of my trigger things. When you say I hate the Flyers, you're triggering me. Okay, Juan, just so you know. You got to give me space on that. Flyers are going to replace the Sixers in the fan base. Never. The Sixers will always be a more generally popular team than Flyers forever. Tyler Guyton is not that difficult to say. There's plenty of tough names. We definitely need an edge for the Eagles. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM. This is what we call the reset here. We're going to do it a little earlier in the show today. It's 8:48 in the morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. every single day. Make sure you check them out. Next, we are brought to you by Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by any criminal law, call my main man, David R. Cherry at the Cherry Law Firm. He is here to fight for you and get you what you deserve. Cherry Law Firm is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured by the negligence of another and you have a question, Westchester Media Personal Injury Attorney, do not hesitate to call him. 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. David R. Cherry, fight for your rights. 610-565-0300. Make sure you hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we've got on this, but make sure we got 13 likes on Facebook. That's a positive. Make sure you're hitting that like button, that share button, that retweet button, the subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, comments do come through the screen. You can comment on the show there as well. Twitch, I don't know. We're streaming on Twitch. That's an EOP thing. I'm learning it. I don't know what Twitch. I don't know if you share, like. I don't know what you do. Whatever you do on Twitch, but you can comment on it. Get interact with the show. It's the most important thing to do. This show is driven and fueled by you guys, the fans. I am Phil Stiefel. You can find me here every morning, like I said, doing this. Scotty just bogeyed the 18th, and he still probably won by 27 strokes. I had Sahith Tagala and Patrick Cantley K1 this week as my two main bets, and they're both right there, man. Just Scotty Scheffler is just so damn good. That's the thing. If you're watching this show for the very first time, we talk it all. I start the topics, but wherever the comments go, that's where we go. That's what we do here. You learned how to pronounce. Why HC? Why don't you do this to me? I'm not even going to try. Hapaluvata. I don't remember. He hasn't been an Eagle in a long time, so I haven't practiced that. It's Vaitai. We can say his last name, Vaitai. I think that's right. Scotty may be entitled for compensation. He might be. Promo code Flyers. We don't got no Flyers promo codes. Do any NBA teams not go to the playoffs? Yeah. I actually kind of enjoyed the play-in series this time, not just because the Sixers were in it. It was exciting. There were some really good games, some bad ones too, but yeah. Tell him Phil sent you. Yeah, that's right. Ambulance chaser. Yeah, is that right? Oh my God. You guys are going to kill me with all these sponsors I got. If you've been hurt by an irresponsible mocker, yeah. David R. Cherry Law Firm. Check them out. I will fight for your right to mock freely. You guys are too much, man. I'm so glad so many of the core 12 are here. We just got to get the rest of them on board now with the new location. It's going to take a few days, a few weeks for this to figure out. Look, we're going to wrap up the Sixers talk here. We're going to continue the Eagles talk, and we are going to talk a little Phillies because I got something that's really annoying me that I want to cover. We got about 35 minutes left in the show here this morning. Got one more ad read still to get to, guys, so don't forget to stay tuned. Like, share it. Somebody tell me how many likes we got on YouTube. 13 on Facebook. I need to know. I know we were at 11 earlier, but got to get those likes up, guys. Got to hit that like button. Sixers tonight, 4.5-point dogs. I am predicting a Sixers win. I don't know about Tim's prediction of 40 and 13 from Joel Embiid. I don't know. But the Sixers win big tonight if I'm predicting a big win tonight if Nick Nurse makes the proper adjustments. Again, less minutes for Tobias Harris. Maybe find a way to get Buddy Hield off the schneid. Those are the key things that will get the Sixers not just to win, but to win big, steal that one game in New York, come back to Philly with the home court advantage now. That's what you need. I'm still sticking. I said Sixers in 5 or 6. I still 5's going to be tough, but 6 is still not a problem. I don't see the need for a game 7 in this series. I don't. It's just all going to come down to Joel Embiid and Nick Nurse's slight adjustments that he's going to make. I'm all tingly waiting for that inaugural hard reset. That was the reset. I just gave you the reset. Excuse me. Sorry. The MVP had to make an appearance on the show. Never, cannot have the MVP make a show. All right, guys. So, Eagles, we're talking about it if you want to talk about what you want with this draft. But for argument's sake, give me a moment. I know a lot of the regulars aren't big Phillies fans. The Phillies are one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've won 6 in a row, 8 of their last 10, pitching fantastically. The bats are coming alive and whatnot. Sixers are infamous, not popular. Sixers, they mess with your emotions. That's for sure. The Sixers, and so do the Phillies. I know it's a long season, baseball, and it's April, and it's hard to get excited for baseball. And that's why I'm not overly reaching at this Phillies team because they're doing so well in April. I'm not holding my hopes up too high. I'm not saying that they're going to fall apart. Like, my emotions really are inconsequential on the Phillies right now. You got one Spencer Turnbull who is pitching lights out in the Phillies rotation right now. You got a guy you're paying $20 million almost a year rehabbing in the minors in Taiwan Walker. And not sold on Rojas. We can talk about Rojas in a second here. He's back up to over 250 batting average. He's starting to settle in. We'll talk about that in a second, though. There are I saw, a report that yesterday was his last rehab assignment, Taijuan Walker, and there's a good chance that he gets called up to pitch, and they are going to take Spencer Turnbull out of the rotation. First and foremost, Taijuan Walker. Everybody that knows me knows the day they signed him over a year ago, I was against it. I don't think Taijuan Walker is that great of a pitcher. Taijuan Walker is having a terrible rehab stretch of games. Can't hit 90 miles an hour. He's not that kind of a pitcher. Why in the world, when I put out a tweet saying that the Phillies are making a major mistake by benching Spencer Turnbull or taking him out of the rotation or whatever you want to call it for Taijuan Walker, that was a massive mistake. Why did I get crushed so much? Everyone telling me that Spencer Turnbull hasn't pitched much lately. I know. Everybody telling me that you sit him now and then bring him back later in the year. Do you not realize Spencer Turnbull is a terrible pitcher? His biggest claim to fame is in 2019, leading the league in losses. Spencer Turnbull, in his first 4 trips through the rotation, or 3 trips through the rotation, has pitched his best 3 or 4 games he has an entire career. So, in my opinion, you do not. Oh, I see your comment, mister. I want to touch on that too. Why in the world do people think that you can just bench or take him out of the rotation and then 3 months from now put him back in the rotation and he's going to pitch well again? Especially for someone like Taijuan Walker, who's a below average pitcher, who's pitching terribly in AAA right now. You ride the Spencer Turnbull hot hand as long as it goes. And when the wheels fall off, fine, the wheels fall off. You make the quick trigger then. But right now, this Phillies team, 8 of their last 10 games, this kid is pitching to a sub-2 ERA. You do not pull him for the rotation for Taijuan Walker. And this is the biggest issue with the Phillies, is that they're just too damn stubborn in the coaching ranks and the front office ranks. You still don't have Brandon Marsh starting every single game. He is literally the best hitter on the team right now. You still bench him occasionally. You still bench him. Well, Bryce and Stott's having a slow start. I get that. You do not take Spencer out of the starting rotation right now. And when they do, and they will do it later this week, make him the long man or whatever, you are making a massive mistake. Massive mistake. You just don't do it. And this is the problem with Rob Thomson, Dave Dombrowski, and the front office of the Phillies. They're too loyal. They paid big money to Taijuan Walker. They want to use them. And I get that as a business owner. You want to get the most out of your investment, but you don't sit them. Not at this point. You ride that Turnbull hot hand until it's done. Then you take them out. Dude, K1, this is an interesting question. I read an interesting article, or piece, not piece of an article, about a week and a half ago on this. I forget who it was. Maybe it was when Spencer Strider went down, or one of the others. That it's the mass amount of pitcher injuries are coming because of the way kids are being coached at the lower levels, not in the minor leagues like in high school, in middle school, high school, and college. I read something about your ligament, the one you repair for Tommy John, doesn't fully develop till you're 26, and you shouldn't be pushing it as hard as they do. And they're using it so much when they're 12, 14, 16 years old that by the time they get to 22, it's spent already. So I really think that has something to do with it. But yeah, it's crazy. Yes, the trade AJ to New England for the 3rd pick in the draft and then get. I saw this rumor floating around in the last week or so, mister. It's insanity. There is no scenario known to man that A.J. Brown is getting traded, first off. There's no scenario where A.J. Brown's getting traded to New England for the 3rd pick. That's even more. I mean, New England would just be kicked out of the NFL if they traded the 3rd pick for A.J. Brown. Get the hell out of here. It's the worst rumor. There's a lot of rumors floating around. It is probably the worst rumor I've read in 6 months. It really is. Phillies are cooking. Do you say Phillies cooking, babe? Are you calling me babe? It's the first time someone in the comments has always ever called me babe. This is the year I can feel it. It's great to see them playing well so early in the season because they've struggled early so often, and they're playing well their bats are just coming alive the last like 5-6 games. Their pitching has been dominant since the start of the season, and you love to see it. Outside of Aaron Nola's first start of the year, the entire rotation has been fantastic. You had 2 or 3 pitchers in the past week take no hitters into the 6th inning. It's insane to see that. Turnbull is like Lorenzen last year. Both had a hot month. You ride that bus until Joe. This is what I've been saying all weekend, and I've been getting crushed for it because everyone just assumes let's just take Turnbull out of the rotation. Just take him out now, and then in September you can put him back in the rotation. No, taking him out of the rotation doesn't mean he's just going to magically be good again down the line. Andre Dillard was a bust. Yes, that was 2019. Howie Roseman has traded up for the last 5 years for Andre Dillard, for Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Devonta Smith. He's traded up 4 of the last 5 years in the first round. This was his one miss. Andre Dillard. Stop. Yeah, that's right. Stop. Who is the Phillies' designated hitter? Is that a legit question? It's Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is the designated hitter. Everybody. He's got 6 home runs already on the year. Everybody's coming around. Trey Turner's playing fantastically right now. Brandon Marsh, Alec Boehm's pushing 20 RBIs already on this team. And you still don't have Bryce Harper in tip-top shape. Nick Castellanos is terrible. Here's another thing that irks me because, everybody's talking Turnbull and Taijuan Walker right now. But I get crushed all the time because I'm trying not to overreact to anything Phillies related this early in the season this year. But you've got somebody like Brandon Marsh who's fantastic. Rob Thomson still doesn't trust him against left-handed starters for some reason, even though last year he was one of the top players on the team hitting left-handed pitching. He's not started like he's played in all but 2 games, but he's not started like 4 or 5 games already. And Nick Castellanos, on the other hand, who's hitting a buck 10, he's hitting, my 8-year-old nephew's weight right now, has started every game in right field for the Phillies. Make it make sense. It doesn't. And this is the problem with the Phillies. They're just so damn stubborn. The coaching and management of this team can't get out of their own way. And I'm not complaining because the Phillies are 14-8. They're 1 game behind the Braves already. They're red hot, 6 in a row. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I remember them sweeping back-to-back series like that. It's great to see, at least in April. Over under 6 trades within the first round of the NFL draft. And who is your guy you will stand by in this draft? Joe, 6 trades. I'd have to look at the numbers on over the first round of the draft. 6 sounds like a lot. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking maybe not. It really depends on how the quarterback's situation plays out. Obviously, you got Caleb Williams, you got McCarthy, you got May, you got so many. There's Bo Nix and Michael Penix. Because the thing is, like, if there's a team that wants Bo Nix or Michael Penix, late in the first round, they really want to trade from the second back in the first to get them. I could see that pushing it up over 6 trades. Like I said, 4 out of the 5 years, Howie Roseman's done it. So there's one right there, possibility. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 6. And who's my guy? That's hard for me to really say. I would love to see them get one of these cornerbacks in the first round. I don't know if they will do it or not. But what I will say is that I don't have a guy, but I do know that this is going to go down as another extremely overrated quarterback draft class. I think some of the guys like Bo Nix and Michael Penix will probably turn out to have as good as, if not better, careers than the guys that are going to go 1, 2, 3 to Chicago, to Washington, to New England, whoever else takes quarterbacks early in the draft. Like, I really, truly believe that. I really do. And I really also think one of those 6, 5, 7 trades in the first round will involve a player. Maybe not to the Eagles. I'm still holding out hope. Still holding out hope, Joe, that the Eagles use 22 and whatever else and get Patrick Surtain in here from Denver. Instead of getting Arnold or Koopa or any of the other cornerbacks in the first round, I would love. I've been pounding the table for a month and a half on this show saying I want the Eagles to do that. Will it happen? I don't know. But I see 1 or 2 major name players getting traded Thursday night or up to Thursday night to a team. I really do see it. Really believe that that's a possibility. I would never put any trade past Howie Roseman. I wouldn't. Only way to get Marsh in the lineup is to put him in a designated hitter. What? Playing too well at center field. Well, Brandon Marsh is your left fielder. Rojas is your center fielder. Brandon Marsh has been the left fielder pretty much every start that he's played this year. But they like to get Pache in there, and they like to get Whit Merrifield in there, who's hitting like a $110. So I can't really. There's no excuse that Brandon Marsh is not starting every single damn game right now. He's a good defensive player. He's a great defensive left fielder, a solid if you played him in center field. All right. He's great. You stop doing it. Interesting. I agree that a big trade happens. Been saying since February. I think I've heard a lot of rumors about the Justin Herbert to Minnesota because, yes, they want McCarthy. John Harbaugh wants his guy on the Chargers with him. I am not a Justin Herbert fan. I've said he's been overrated. He is just a modern day version of Phillip Rivers, basically, in my opinion. He's a slightly better Kirk Cousins. Herbert would be great in Minnesota. They're used to guys that put up great stats but don't win the big games. That's all Justin Herbert is at this point. And when we do quarterback rankings and discuss quarterback rankings throughout the offseason, the beginning of the season, I still put Herbert in my top 10. But people that put Justin Herbert in their top 3 or 4 quarterbacks, why? He's overrated. I think Minnesota would be making a mistake, although they need a quarterback. I think the Chargers would be making a mistake as well. Like, I just don't know why you would be trading Justin Herbert at this point. But also, I don't know why you'd want him at this point, if that makes sense. I've seen that rumor a lot. I think Patrick Surtain gets traded by Thursday night. I really do. I want it to be with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if it is with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the only way that I could describe that. I don't know if any wide receivers are tradable. We've seen a lot of wide receivers get traded for first-round picks in the past. A.J. Brown a few years ago with the Eagles. I don't know. I know, obviously, the A.J. Brown rumors are not. There's no way that they're true. Zero truth to those. But yeah, I could see 1 or 2 of these 6 or 7 trades being major name players, for sure. Is Justin Herbert is Joel Embiid? Strong disagree. Wrong. Because Joel Embiid's only issue is health. Justin Herbert, I don't think really. Maybe he had an injury. I don't know. But he's not like Joel Embiid's injury prone. Let's. I mean, we can all agree to that, whether we love him or not. But Justin Herbert, I mean, the people that say, well, he hasn't had healthy team or he hasn't this or that. Look, Justin Herbert blew a 30-point playoff lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars 2 years ago. That's all you need to know about Justin Herbert. It was the defense's fault. That was the coach's fault. No, Justin Herbert blew that game. You don't lose, but when you're up 30 at halftime in a playoff game, you do not lose that game. There are probably, if I ranked him, he'd be in that 5 to 8 window. But I bet you there's 10 quarterbacks I would take in the NFL right now if I was building a team over Justin Herbert. For sure. Phil and Herbert stinks. I've never, ever, ever said that Justin Herbert stinks. Okay? I said he's overrated. I say he's a fantasy football darling. That's it. He's Phillip Rivers. He's Kirk Cousins. Stats don't equal Super Bowls. And I'm glad you're on board, but I've never said he stinks. Phil will speak Surtain into Philly with his new show. I'm trying. K1, you've been watching my show for a long time, K1. I've been pounding the table. Make that move. Howie Roseman and the Eagles are all in. When you go out and give $30 million or whatever it was to Saquon Barkley, you are all in. You go get Patrick Surtain. Don't go get a young kid that's got to still prove if they could play in the NFL. Go get the 24, 25-year-old that's already proven it. And I hope to God, I'm not saying I don't want J.C. Horn because there have been J.C. Horn rumors to Philly as well. But don't give me Horn. Give me Surtain. Get the guy that is going to take your defense to the next level. If it's not Patrick Surtain, I would put, personally, less than 40% chance that we take a cornerback in the first round. Maybe in the second round, but not in the first round. Joel Embiid gets you to the playoffs. Justin Herbert has only made the playoffs once in his career. Exactly. And in that 1 point, Joe, he blew a 30-point halftime lead. Just saying. That's something. Yeah, he blew a double-digit lead against the Hawks, and Ben Simmons passed up a wide open layup, and a lot of things happened there. And a 10, 12-point lead is not blowing a 30-point lead in a football game. Just a minute, Phil, you hate Justin Herbert with every fiber of your being. I do. I just hate him. Hate's such a strong word, K1. I hate using the word hate. Hate's such a terrible word. I will trade 22 for Surtain. Oh, it's going to cost you more than 22, Marshawn. It's going to cost you 22, maybe next year's second round pick. I don't know. Maybe a player. I don't know. I think once, like 2 months ago, we talked about 22, future second, and Josh Sweat would get the job done. Now you need Josh Sweat, but that's another whole subject. Who's mid? Justin Herbert? Yeah. Yes, Justin Simmons is still all this hype for Justin Simmons, and now it is April 22nd. He is still sitting out there. J.C. Horn is always hurt. Exactly. Now, if you can get me J.C. Horn for a fourth round pick or something like that, sure. Trade 120 for J.C. Horn? Absolutely, I'll take that swing. We talk about how deep the cornerback, room is for the Eagles. It's not deep in talent, but just deep a lot of players. Isaiah Rodgers, that was something that went under the radar last week. All the guys suspended were all reinstated except for Isaiah Rodgers. And there's a lot of rumors on what the deal is. Whether it's because he's not allowed to reapply yet, or he just there's a lot going on there. But yeah, true that. So what draft picks are we losing from tampering with the Saquon? There has not been anything finalized with that. So as of this moment, we're not losing anything this year. I don't even know if they've really even proven that was accurate or true. Just a rumor. Herbert or Harris? I'll take Herbert over Tobias Harris right now, for sure. It's a close one, K1. It's a very close one. Well, you know what? I don't want to get political on my first day on this show. But he did blow that lead in that war. He was going. No, never mind. Yeah, we're just gonna not put up any more Putin comments that are coming in here. Isaiah Rodgers was not served 1 full year of his suspension. Can't reinstate. Right, but you can reapply for reinstatement after the season ended, and they could have announced like a decision whether it's been made or not. He can't be reinstated and actually be practicing yet, but they could have made a comment on him, like we'll get to him next week or whatever. There are a lot of mixed. You know what's really annoying, Marshawn, on this Isaiah Rodgers thing? Eagles Nation is blowing up on this last week, but yet no one of any, like Howie Roseman spoke to the media last week. A lot of people did, and no one commented on it. Like, yes, we still expect him to be back, but the timing isn't right. There's so much mixed information on the Isaiah Rodgers situation that now all of a sudden I'm thinking to myself, something's up there. I hope not, because I do want Isaiah. I think Isaiah Rodgers would be an effective addition to this Eagles secondary if they draft somebody or trade for, Surtain, whatever. But you still got Bradbury, Slay. They brought back Maddox. You got Isaiah Rodgers. Zach McPherson will be back. You got Ringo and Ricks. You've got a lot of bodies already in the secondary. And Bradbury and Slay are still here and under contract and being paid. And you've got to hope that they're going to be better in 2024 if they are here. I don't know. What would you rather put in my comment? Hold on. What did he say, HC, last? I don't even know. Sorry. Describe Justin Herbert in 3 words or less. I just need one. Overrated. Feels so close to funny punchline. No. I didn't want to get into that punchline. I'm not doing it. Would you rather put in my comment? I don't. Eagles have to expect more out of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis next year. The Eagles, I dare say, go another defensive. I absolutely think that is on the table, Joe. 1,000%. Byron Murphy. I forget what the other cat's name is that keeps falling in a lot of mock drafts to me. I've done a lot of mock drafts, and I think there's there's a higher likelihood of a defensive tackle than a cornerback in the first round. There really is. I really think there is. Joel Embiid is injury prone because he has to be everything for the Sixers. He has to be the best defender, scorer, rebounder. Joker only focuses on scoring. The Sixers are poorly. The last line: Sixers are poorly constructed. That's on Daryl Morey. I know you got me. Do you think they think that? No, I didn't go over my head. I knew what you were doing. Newton. Yeah, Newton's the other one that keeps popping. Newton and Murphy are the ones that keep popping up in my mock drafts. I think there's an extremely, extremely strong possibility. I think Howie's plan, and we're going to go deeper into this as the week goes on. Tomorrow will be a lot of Sixers recap of tonight's game for sure, obviously. But Wednesday and Thursday, we will spend a lot of time talking draft. We'll probably run some mock drafts once I get my mouse back hooked up. But yeah, I think there's an extreme possibility of it. Howie Roseman drafts interior linemen, offense and defense. Well, offense and he drafts the trenches and wide receivers. That's his MO in the first round. So expect an offensive line. Like, don't be surprised if defensive tackle or offensive tackle is that first pick. And Eagles Nation's going to freak out, but you know what? Howie's system has worked. Howie's system has worked effectively for a long time. There's a reason why the Eagles are consistently one of the best teams in the NFL for the last 20 plus years. There's a system in place in Philly. And it works. Man. Hate when that happens. You pull the coffee cup away, it splashes up in your face. At least the camera doesn't get that close to my face and you can see all the coffee on it now. High probability of drafting offensive and defense. Elite announced. No, I said offensive line and defensive line. You can't edit what I say to support your joke, K1. It's only funny if it's right. This is spot on. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, everyone wants them to draft a cornerback or trade up or no. Tight end. Last year we did the same exact thing last year with the Bijan Robinson conversation. We had Bijan Robinson conversations on this show every single day for weeks on end. And everybody thought there was a chance. There was zero chance of Bijan Robinson to Philly. Zero. Howie Roseman has evolved massively as a GM. You don't see Jalen Reagor types anymore, J.J. Arcega-Whitesides anymore. You don't see Danny Watkins types anymore. But what you do see, you don't see Dark Barnett types anymore. What you still see is the same style of drafting. He's just evaluating differently. And his style and philosophy is offense and defensive line. That's it. Wide receiver. That's it. There is zero chance of a linebacker. There's zero chance. 2 years ago, everybody wanted Nakobe Dean or what's his name in the first round. Yeah, we got Nakobe Dean in the third round. Howie Roseman is going to have a plan. Howie Roseman's got probably more plans on the table this year than any other year. He's probably got 12 different scenarios of this first round laid out. He's probably got conversations going with 12 different GMs. If this scenario plays out, I got a deal for you to trade up. If this scenario plays out, I'm going to trade back with you. If this scenario plays out, we're going to draft this player. He is so detail-oriented that it's not broken. It's worked. We've been to the Super Bowl. We've won a lot of football games. We've been consistently one of the best teams in football for a very, very long time. I couldn't agree more. Howie is a top 3 GM in the game right now, and a lot of players and coaches want to work with him. Absolutely. Joe, you're new to the show because on this new network here, but this show has been going on for 2.5 years now across different platforms, and I've been saying it for a long time. I've been saying it this year since the offseason started, that if Nick Sirianni would have gotten fired, he might not have gotten a job right away. If Howie Roseman was ever fired, he'd have 10 jobs lined up to be the GM of another football team in 3 seconds. The ink on the firing paper wouldn't be dried, and he'd already have another contract to GM somewhere else. That is how good Howie Roseman is. Now, he frustrates us at times. Sure. We don't have enough Super Bowl trophies. Of course. Let me tell you something. He is one of the top 3. He might be one of the top 5 GMs in all of sports at this point. His consistency is there. Love the gritty Avi. Yeah. What is up, Ryan? Pride of Mushroom Country. That is right. Kennett Square. I appreciate you, my man, for checking in this morning. Again, guys, we're coming down to the home stretch here. Final 10 minutes. Make sure you hit that like button wherever you're watching, share button, retweet button, whatever platform. I don't know what you do on Twitch, but hit it. Hit those buttons. Guys, one final ad read, then we'll start the wrap-up process here. Got to get it. Who's last on my board here? That's right. Dolan's Bar. When you're staying local and want to watch a great game, just hang out with some great people. Go to Dolan's Bar in my old neck of the woods, Ridley Park, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park, in the 19078, right off of I-95, south of the Philly Airport. It's a bar nestled in a small town of Ridley Park. Quintessential Irish American dive bar. It really is. For over 65 years, for one reason they have thrived, it's their great patrons who are just like family. That's how I treat my pizza shop customers as well. Great music, great times, memorabilia giveaways, drinks, food, you name it, they got it. You even know when a Philly icon might walk in the door. Go to Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Check them out. DolansBar.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. But you heard about him right here on Trending in the AM. Guys, final 10 minutes. We're talking Sixers. Give me your Sixers predictions. Final thoughts of the day on the NFL draft that's coming up on Thursday. And Phillies predictions. They're going on a 9-10 game road trip now. We'll see how they survive their first long road trip. Ken Griffey Sr. is on team with son. Yes, they played together. The Bonds father and son played together too as well. Get on Rumble. I don't even know what Rumble is. Nice read. Little blip in the. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're grading it. I did practice these reads, and I have commercials. The commercials, they're a little long. I want to keep you guys entertained, so I'll do reads. I'm going to come up with my own reads for them. I just print them out as is for now. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. My first time having ad reads since my DSM days, so gotta do what you gotta do. It's been a long time since I've been to Dolan's Bar, but I grew up out there. Stop, guys, criticizing my ad reads. I wouldn't expect it any other way from you guys. I wouldn't expect it any other way. They're going offensive line, Jameson says, in the first round. I want yeah, I mean, look, you could do a couple different things there in the first round with the offensive line. You could draft Lane Johnson's ultimate replacement and have him to add depth in case of injuries. You could do that. You could draft Jackson Powers. Johnson? Is it Johnson Powers Jackson? Jackson Powers Johnson? I don't know. You could draft your center and then have Steen stay at right guard. You could do any of those things. There's a lot of options there. And Eagles Nation's going to freak out if an offensive tackle is the pick. But big picture, after the initial overreaction, it will be the right move. It will be. Can the fan base survive with Sixers and Phillies losing streaks? I don't know. Can the fan base survive if the Sixers and Phillies are losing and the Eagles draft an offensive lineman in the first round? What sweet hell is this? I know. It's that cute little show you share a network with now, Matty B. That's what it is. I'll give that read a 7 out of 19. Stop. That was an something like that. You guys, come on now. I love y'all. This has been a blast being on here for the first time. Yeah. Oh, Matty knows. Matty's a pain in my ass, and I love him for it. Sixers are winning tonight. No doubt about it. Phillies are winning tonight. Ranger danger. Power Ranger. Suarez out on the mound. No doubt about it. Is that how you pronounce or spell his full name? Alamua Fashanu? I'm not even close. Not even close. K1. What would we had to change Albert O's name to Aqua Bowman. What would we change in that name? There are some awful names. And I think a lot of Phillies fans or Philadelphia Eagles fans that watch this show are praying not for the best player, but the best name to be drafted, just so I can mispronounce it excessively on this show. That's what you're all going to do, right? That's what you're all hoping for. That's right. It's Ranger Danger. Stranger Danger Day. Ranger ain't losing tonight. Not against it's the Reds, right? Yeah, the Reds. Not happening. HC, I missed all of you guys. 2 weeks of no morning shows. Man, I don't know what I did. I don't know. You know what I did? I relaxed in the morning for a little bit. But the morning shows are part of my life. I'm telling you, it's been a stressful 2 weeks moving, packing, moving, unpacking. But you know what? Time to get back to a regular routine, HC. Back to what I do. Guys, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, follow, Twitter, follow, wherever you are, EOP Sports, and check out their website, EOPsports.com. All their great articles and coverage of teams. You got lots of great people putting in a lot of effort. And guys, you guys supported me at my previous brand, PSN, but there wasn't much on social media. Just check out this lineup. This is the lineup of shows on EOP this week. There are 31 live shows on Edge of Philly Sports this week. Fairway to Heaven Tuesday nights with me. I'm back with Jason tomorrow night. Just today, 6 o'clock, Philly Smack Talk Show, Football Smack Talk Show, Party on Broad, Sixers postgame, Phillies postgame. Just today. Look at that Tuesday lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows on Tuesday alone. So make sure you're following along, EOP, because there is so much great sports content on this channel and this site. You got to check it out. I missed you guys so much. I really did. This has become such a part of my life. And again, shout out to Big Al. It's good to feel wanted. You know, Big Al and I, we don't know each other personally, but we do know each other. We both went to the same elementary school. I went to school with his sister. Lots of things. We're from the same area. You know, when you're from Delco, it's not which town are you from, it's what parish you're from. So, you know, we're from the same area, growing up the same way. We won an all Phil proof draft. Yeah. I'm rooting the draft the hardest pronounced players. I know. Joe, will definitely be tuning in more often every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30, 90 minutes of whatever's trending. And sometimes, not always, we'll even cover the serious topics in the world. Occasionally. Are you in the basement? Need some more natural light? Yeah, I got this new light here. I am in my basement of my new house. I have a bar in this basement, in this house. Oops, I turned it off. There we go. We got the other side. I'm setting up a studio on the other side of the basement. There's a lot more light over there. I just haven't had a chance to get it all put together over there. But that's where I will be. I got a new light here, compliments of Big Al. So there's a little bit more light. It's really right in my face. So yeah. Rook. Rook or Hor. I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that says. Phil, being the first person to ever deal with the stress of moving, how did it go? It sucked ass. Just gonna say, and yes, Big Al, GM of the year, making the biggest free agent signing that no one even knew was happening except for everyone. Gotta love Mitch. You're spot on, Mitchy Poo. EOP, it runs deep. How much great content is on EOP? So make sure you're following wherever you are. I'm getting absolutely spammed with Philly shows. I just want Philip. Sorry. You get me 6 times a week. 5 morning shows, golf on Tuesday nights. Occasionally, maybe I'll start popping in some post-game shows as well. You never know. Maybe. You never know what goes on with me. Jenkintown got beef with Delco. Really? I don't know. You know what, Marshawn? I love you, my man. I know you would follow me anywhere, my man. Hell yeah. Basement party. Dude, I got this sick bar, copper bar. There's a whole entire bar basin, like 3 compartment sink and stuff like that, ice bin. Like this guy put in some fun into this basement. I got an extra TV to put up down here. Maybe we'll do some watch parties down here. Lots I can do with this basement. I did not. I don't know what you're saying there. Penn State offensive tackle, second rounder, make it happen. Maybe. Not a fan of the new studio settings. Please turn down 4 watt. I don't know. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. What's up, the Gobbler, Patty Bernard, one of the hardest working people in the Philly media out there, man. I love it. How many times are we going to talk about this game 1 loss? They lost the game because Joe is hurt. They're going to lose game 2, 3, and 4 also. That is way too negative for me. SUV Hogan, for sure. But yes. You better clear that with the who runs the Phillies and fly. Oh, I didn't say I was. I said maybe. I don't think you can handle me on a show with you. You couldn't. Ruben tells a funny story about Statland during the draft last year, telling Howie to draft every top offensive lineman, and Howie had to explain to him, we can't just draft every top 10 pick. Jeff Statland, Hall of Famer, personality, coach, all of it. Turned down for what? Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We are there at the end of this show. You are watching Trending in the AM on its new home, Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, like, share, subscribe, follow, retweet. Do it all. We'll be back tomorrow. Sixers Game 2 recap. Phillies, Reds. We'll talk that. More NFL draft talk. Guys, so much happening. Thank you all for finding me, tuning in today. Guys, I am so ready to get this shit started. I am. Yeah, I know. He really brought it down a notch at the end there, man. Really did. But guys, with that, we are going to wrap up the re-debut of Trending the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you subscribe, follow on this channel, guys. Back tomorrow, 8 a.m. I am Phil Stiefel. And as we end every show, guys, it doesn't matter what season it is. Let's go Birds.